Imagine it's summer. It's summer and you're sitting in your room, sipping a cup of cold coffee with Netflix on your TV screen, along with the remote in one hand and your mobile phone in the other. You're casually flipping between two apps. One is helping you watch movies, and the other has given you the opportunity to shop. The convenience associated with just adding shopping items into our carts is extraordinary and weird at the same time. In a way, you can say that you're multitasking. I'm pretty sure each one of you, from teachers to students and to parents, can relate to this. We undoubtedly enjoy what modern technology has to offer us. We have been appreciating the changes in technology since a very long time. Now, I want all of you to imagine again. Imagine that it's still summer and you're sitting in your room with your fan running at the speed of 2. But you continue to feel the heat. What do? You increase the speed of the fan, right? And how do you do that? You turn the control knob to a speed that is suitable or convenient for you. Same thing when you're, say, boiling water. If you want the water to boil faster, you just turn the gas knob to a suitable flame that is, again, convenient for you. We have all kinds of knobs in our lives that make our work easier and give us a little more control over our life. We have volume knobs, knobs on mixtures, and even knobs in cars. Now, the question is, do you have a knob to control your privacy when you're online surfing or using any internet application? The question is, do you have a cyber knob? And the answer to this question currently is a big no. A few years back, when I was introduced to internet and social media, I was amazed to see how Google was suggesting me on things that I wanted to search, how Amazon was suggesting me to buy more recommended items based on my previous purchases, and how YouTube was continuously playing videos and recommending me at the same time. And surprisingly, I had interest in all of them, and so I kept clicking. I was mesmerized by seeing the extent to which technology had gone. It made me believe how technology had simplified all my tasks. I thought how cool it was that YouTube was suggesting me videos that I liked without having me to search for them, and how anyone could now watch any movie in any part of the world without having to go to the theaters by just paying for a 199 rupees subscription on Netflix. Now, you also might be aware of how the messaging system has evolved over the years, from the age of pigeons to the age of handwritten mails, and to now, in the age of WhatsApp, an app by which texting has not only become easier, but also free. At that point, I really couldn't understand how this company was earning money and what their revenue model was, because the app was free. At that point, I was only looking at one side of the flipped coin. Until recently, when I watched a movie called The Social Dilemma. Seeing that movie made me realize that there is more to internet applications than what meets our eyes. There is a dark side of the internet. I'm sure that this might sound as a surprise coming from a teenager's mouth, but yes, I do agree with it. Later on, my dad also enlightened me on what exactly happens behind the scenes of any website or apps we use almost daily. Now, I'm pretty sure many of you might have done this while you enter your email passwords or unlock your phones. You tend to hide your phone or cover your keypad from a friend or a colleague peeking over your shoulders. Or when you, parents and teachers, when you're withdrawing money from the ATMs, you don't want anyone else to be there while you enter your PIN, right? Now, if I ask you why do you do this, what will you say? You might say that you do this for the sake of privacy and security, right? But even after doing all of these things, you still cannot guarantee 100% of your privacy. Let me share you an incident of mine. So one day, me and my dad were listening to songs on the Gaana app from my dad's playlist while driving on a scenic route. And when one of the songs ended, a new song started, which was not in my dad's playlist, but was composed by the same artist. So, did you see what happened here? Gaana was trying to be over smart by recommending and playing videos similar to those of my dad's likes. But my dad, he didn't like this feature. He felt that the software was trying to know more about him than he himself. Now you might say that there are some apps that give you control over your privacy, but unfortunately, what many privacy and security companies offer today are solutions so complex and so cumbersome that most consumers and even some IT administrators find them too complicated to use. Now, if a 5-year-old can figure out how to watch a video on an iPad or make a phone call on an iPhone, then why can't a 25-year-old figure out how to use a security software? Is it just a coincidence? Of course not. It is made to be that way. At first, I used to think that why should I worry about privacy and security? I'm not a lawbreaker. I've got nothing to hide. I'm just a 14-year-old. What could they possibly get by stealing my data? I used to believe that the internet is much more secure and that my personal information was only available to me. But it turns out I was quite wrong. Later, my dad told me how these big companies like Google, Facebook, and Pinterest, they take your data and then they further sell that data to advertisement companies. This was their revenue model. To simplify this, let me share you another quick story of mine. So one day, I wanted to buy a smartwatch for me, and so I was going through a shopping site. You know, because everyone in my class had one. And even though having decided on what type of watch I wanted, I still couldn't decide with the color. So I pushed the task for the next day. Further, that day I was reminded of a cricket match that was going on between India and England. And me, being a big cricket fan, I was eager to know the score. And so I opened a cricket site. And while I was analyzing the score, my sight fell upon a pop-up ad that came up on the screen. And to my surprise, the ad was about a sale on smartwatches. At first, I thought that it might have been a coincidence, but then later I realized how my data was sold to the cricket site, who had then showed me an ad of a product that they knew I would be interested in buying. So did you see how my data was exposed and how my privacy was compromised? But then later I also figured that you can choose not to accept the cookies or block the ads through browser settings, or you even use incognito mode for the matter of fact. But even after doing this, the sites will continue to persuade you to unblock the ad control to view their content. This exposure of data right here can also land in the wrong hands and can be misused by hackers. So now, how do you ensure your privacy? Let me tell you a thing. See, privacy is not about keeping things private. It's not about secrets either. Rather, privacy is about choice. The choice about what we tell other people about ourselves. A series of circumstances has led us to a place where the content on the internet appears to be free. But it's not. We are just paying for it in different ways. Which reminds me of a quote from the movie that I was talking about earlier. And that is, if anything is free, then you are the product. Your thoughts and actions, they are the product. And trust me when I say that this is not good for mankind. So now, the only question left to answer is, what's the solution? Do we just accept the fact that our privacy will be violated? Or that the people who are genuinely concerned about this problem should stop using such services? Or is it that we must plead our government to adopt stricter laws? I ask you again, what's the solution? The solution can be being granted the access to a cyber knob. A knob that will help you control your privacy level while you perform tasks online. A knob that will allow my father to listen to songs without having to listen to a second preference. A knob that will allow me to visit any site I want without having to be stalked by an ad company. A knob that will allow me to decide what I want to share, when I want to share, and with whom I want to share my personal information online. In this ever so changing world of technology, all that we users need is a cyber knob. This is a controller of privacy. And even if it means that this knob might come with a price, I most certainly believe that it's a price we should be willing to pay. So, before I conclude, I would only like to state that if we cannot protect ourselves, ultimately, we cannot be ourselves. Re-emphasizing on, don't be the product. Thank you.